Welcome to the April 9th Clifton Park Town Board meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey, Pat, if you would call the roll. Here. Here. No minutes tonight. We do have a whole slew of events coming up in April. We've got Shredding Day coming up. We've got our townwide cleanup. And we have over 300 signed up. Is that correct, Mrs. Hannah?
We do. We have just about 300 residents signed up for parks and trails and roadways throughout town. And we have a lot more room for more volunteers. So if anyone is interested, please email me astandart@cliftonpark.org or call Town Hall 371-6651. Plenty of room.
Yeah, and we have a whole group of possible volunteers here tonight. And since they picked the right meeting, because it's going to be very short, you can transfer that time to our townwide cleanup day. Now, your peers that were here last week, they were here for, I don't know, what was it, 2 hours? 2 hours or more. So.
And I got a couple of young people that were in the audience last week to sign up for cleanup day.
Oh, more pressure. More pressure.
Yes.
Boy, the pressure's building
The
out
challenge
there.
has been issued.
And what's the date on that again?
The date is April 21st. Usually we do it from 9 to 12, but I'm very flexible if you have to do another day or another time. So.
Yeah, you don't even have to do it on that day.
That's right.
You can do it the next day.
We give you the bags. We even pick up the bags for you once they're full. It's
Yeah.
usually a beautiful sunny day, no matter what day you pick.
Right?
Yeah, it's a good time.
Okay, very good. And also bulk waste pickup, free curbside pickup of bulk waste refuse from homes. That begins on April 16th if you live in the northern part of town. Now, I'm just going through all of these events quickly because you can find all the information and details about each event on the town website, cliftonpark.org, as opposed to my going through all the details again tonight. Any other communications or announcements?
I'd like to make an announcement
yes.
that my deputy town clerk, Jody Ensel, will be retiring on May 30th. She has been deputy town clerk since May 1st, 1997. So for our office, it's a, I don't want to say it's a loss because I hope she'll be back doing other things, but we certainly will miss her. But in the meantime, there is a resolution on tonight. I have appointed Christine Pagniello as my deputy. She will be coming in on May 31st, and there is a resolution tonight to that regard.
Okay. Very good. First up, we do have a public hearing. Pat, if you could read the legal notice as it appeared in the Gazette.
Please take notice that the town board of the town of Clifton Park will conduct a public hearing on the 9th day of April at 7 p.m. in the Wood Memorial Meeting Room in the town office building located at 1 Town Hall Plaza, town of Clifton Park, County of Saratoga, State of New York, to consider all applications submitted for renewing expiring existing conservation easements pursuant to Chapter 125-10C of the Town Code. And this was in the Daily Gazette on April 3rd.
Very good. With that, we'll open the hearing. This year, we only have one application that's up for renewal. Is that correct, Walter?
Yes, it is. Yeah, this was set one this year.
All right, and that's a total of 40 acres. Now, under the conservation easement programs, I know you guys have to write a little synopsis of what you learn here tonight, right? So the conservation easement program, it's an option for large landowners to receive a reduction in taxes. In exchange for the reduction in taxes, they agree not to develop their property for a specific period of time. There's 3 different terms that they can choose: 15, 20, or 25 years. So it's another option that the town offers for the protection of property It's temporary, obviously, because I spoke of terms of 15, 20, 25 years. We also have permanent options that we exercise regularly as well. And through this program, Walter, we're up to somewhere over 2,000 acres, right, in the conservation?
Yes, over 2,000 acres, over 50 parcels.
So we have a significant amount of property within the conservation easement program, over 2,000 acres of property, and then we've permanently preserved over 1,400 acres since 2000. So the town does have different options available to preserve property and protection of open space, and to expand our parks and recreational network, which we've done. Okay. Anything you want to add here, Walter?
No, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's pretty standard. We do this every year for the renewals.
Right. Some years we have multiple applications up for renewals. Some years we don't have any. This year we have one. So. All right, very good. Any comments from the board to start out? Okay. With that, we'll go to public comment. If you'd like to speak on this matter, please raise your hand. We'll ask that you come forward. State your name and address for the record, and please keep it to 5 minutes or less. Would anybody like to speak on this matter? Okay, going once, twice, okay. Very good. Any final comments from the board? Okay, very good. The public hearings for these conservation easement, for the conservation easement program are not controversial, as you can tell. It's a contract really between the town and the landowner, and in general people do support the protection of open space whenever possible and property from development. So that's why these are typically not terribly controversial. All right, with that we'll close the public hearing. We do have a few resolutions. Pat, if you could read through those.
Resolution renewing existing term easements pursuant to section 125.10 conservation easements of the town code. Whereas the town initiated a town conservation easement program in 1996 with term easements issued with a minimum of 15-year term thereafter, and whereas the first term conservation easements issued permanent to Town Code Chapter 125 expired in 2011. And whereas on February 6, 2012, the town board adopted Local Law Number 1 of 2012, providing for the streamlining of the process for holders of existing term conservation easements to reapply for terms of their choice. And whereas applications were received from one holder of an existing conservation easement expiring in 2017 to renew their existing conservation easement. And whereas Ronald and Kathy Okram have applied for renewal of a 15-year conservation easement for a home located at 986 Hatley Road, Boston Lake. And whereas pursuant to Chapter 125.10, the town board conducted a single public hearing on April 9, 2018 to consider all applications for renewal of term conservation easements. And whereas the public was given the opportunity to speak in favor of or against the renewal of expiring term conservation easements, now therefore be resolved that the expiring renewal submitted for property at 986 Hatley Road is hereby renewed for a 15-year term easement. A resolution setting a step position for the newly appointed deputy town clerk. Whereas due to the retirement of deputy town clerk Jody Ensel, a vacancy will exist in the town clerk's office, and whereas pursuant to section 3010 of New York State town law, the town clerk has appointed Christine Pagniello to the position of deputy town clerk effective May 31st, 2018, and recommends the appointment at a grade 6, step 8 per the town's 2018 salary matrix. And whereas Mrs. Pagniello has had 10 years' experience with the town, first in the Parks and Recreation Department and then as receiver of taxes since September of 2014. And whereas her previous positions with the town have included primary contact with residents, parents, family members, and taxpayers, and she has discharged her duties in a reliable and conscientious manner, and has demonstrated friendly and accurate communication skills in performing assigned duties. Now therefore be resolved that based on the recommendations of the town clerk and upon Christine's qualifications for the position, Christine Pagniello is promoted to grade 6, step 8, and will be compensated at $58,921 as deputy town clerk, effective May 31st, 2018, and be further resolved that Christine Pagniello is hereby authorized to approve purchases per the procurement policy. A resolution appointing Max J. Looters as a part-time guard, whereas a need exists for a part-time guard, and whereas Louis Pasquarello, Safety and Security Director, has recommended that Max J. Looters, Forest Lane Half Moon, be appointed as a part-time guard. Now therefore be resolved that Max J. Looters, Forest Lane Half Moon, is hereby appointed as a part-time guard for the town of Clifton Park at a grade 4, step 1, $20.27 per hour, budgeted from, that line is listed, guard part-time employee, effective immediately. A resolution awarding a contract for landscape work for the Stony Creek Park District Number 1 entrances, whereas quotes were received by the town board as commissioners of the Stony Creek Park District for landscape work for the district, and whereas the lowest conforming quote for the work to be done, which includes removal and disposal of debris, mulching and screening the planting area around the entrance signs to the Stony Creek Park District Number 1, was submitted by Greg Seasonal in an amount not to exceed $4,250. Now therefore be resolved that the town board as commissioners of the Stony Creek Park District 1 hereby awards the contract to Greg Seasonal Service, Lake Road, Waterford, New York, for landscape work at the entrances of Stony Creek Park District at a cost not to exceed $4,250 for the 2017 season to be budgeted from, 18 season, I guess, no? With that. To be budgeted from Stony Creek Park District 1 maintenance, and be further resolved that the agreement is renewable through the 2020 season upon mutual consent. A resolution appointing Kathleen C. O'Donnell as the full-time confidential court clerk to the Honorable James F. Hughes. Whereas due to the retirement of Susan Nielsen, there is an opening in the full-time position of confidential court clerk. And whereas Kathleen O'Donnell has 8 years of experience as court clerk in the towns of Malta and Ballston, and whereas both town justices have recommended that Kathleen O'Donnell be appointed as the full-time confidential court clerk to the Honorable James F. Hughes in the Clifton Park Town Court, now therefore be resolved that Kathleen O'Donnell is hereby appointed as the full-time confidential court clerk to the Honorable James F. Hughes in the Clifton Park Town Court at grade 5, step 2 level to begin work on or after April 23rd, 2018.
Very good. Any questions on the resolutions? Okay. Pat, if you'd read the headings, and we'll consider each resolution individually.
So, resolution number 91 of 2018, a resolution renewing existing term easements pursuant to section 12510, conservation easements of the town code.
So moved.
Second?
By Mr. Romano, second by Mrs. Standard. Discussion.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 92 of 2018, a resolution setting a step position for the newly appointed deputy town clerk.
So moved? Second?
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Whalen. Discussion. Any discussion, Pat? Oh. Chris Pagnello's been a valued employee of the town of Clifton Park for a number of years now, both in the Parks and Recreation Office as well as receiver of taxes. And she will now be moving to the clerk's office at the end of May. Okay. Pat?
Very happy to have her. Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 93 of 2018, a resolution appointing Max Looters as a part-time guard.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Whalen, second by Mrs. Standard. Max is currently part of our public safety group. He is a part-time animal control officer and will be working a few hours here and there filling in as a guard. Any discussion? Okay.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 93 of 2018, a resolution awarding a contract for landscape work for the Stony Creek Park District 1 entrances.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Romano, second by Ms. Wallowitz. Discussion.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 94 of 2018, a resolution appointing Kathleen C. O'Donnell as the full-time confidential court clerk to the Honorable James F. Hughes.
So,
Second?
Moved by Mr. Whalen, second by Ms. Wallowitz. Discussion. Okay.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes. Any other business to come before the board this evening? Okay, seeing none, I do want to mention that we lost a longtime and valued employee with the town of Clifton Park, Irene Botch. She brought a lot of life to town hall, and she worked regularly through the busy months for the tax receiver's office. Other than those 3 months, she would work sporadically, filling in for people when needed, answering phones and other clerical duties. And she was just, she was amazing. I mean, she wouldn't miss work for anything. I'll never forget last year, she had a flat tire during a snowstorm, and all she cared about was getting to work, and she got here. I don't even think she was late. I don't know how she did it either. I have no idea. I heard about the story during the day at some point. But she was, like I said, she brought so much life to Town Hall when she was here, and obviously dedicated, and we'll miss her very much. So her wake is tomorrow morning. Okay. We'll go to public privilege. If you'd like to speak on a town matter, please raise your hand. We'll ask that you come forward. State your name and address for the record, and please keep it to 5 minutes or less. Any takers this evening? Any new volunteers for townwide cleanup day? Well, you don't have to decide right this second. Well, Beth, thank you. You're showing a good example for the students.
That's my name.
That's your middle name. Well, you said such a nice one for Bob all these years, so.
We have some takers, Mr. Supervisor.
Fantastic.
Second row. There you go.
See Mrs. Standard.
Signing up.
She'd love to speak with you. Very good.
Motion to adjourn.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilman Walker? Vice Mayor?
Yes, thank you.